would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
What's going on, guys? Man, it's time to talk about this movie. What's going on, everybody? Let me know what you guys think of the movie. Put that in the comments. Can't wait to figure out everybody's thoughts of what they really thought of this movie. How many times have you watched it so far? Because I already watched it like 3 times. What do we got in here? We got Turks. What's going on, Turks? We got Squid XD. VIP Supreme. Hell yeah, that movie was crazy. It was better than I expected. Which makes sense, because the reviews that were coming out, they were just... The reviews were just so positive. Now we got everybody coming out with their reviews. We're getting to see everybody's reaction, some reaction videos from just all kinds of YouTubers reacting to this movie. People that don't really make reaction videos are posting reaction videos to Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, that is... I am definitely going to watch it again, but I want to watch it in the movie theaters, IMAX. Well, at least try. I'm sure that the theater closest to me is, I'm able to do that. See, the question is though. The question is we are what's gonna happen next? Now that the movie's all said and done, Godzilla went back into the water, back to where he lives. Kong is in the Hollow Earth, and I feel like he got, that's and then he officially got King, so now he's officially King Kong. So they now can coexist. Destroya maybe. Let's let me look. Like, would Destroya be a good villain to add next? Looks like Destroya has multiple forms too. Got the microscopic form, the juvenile form, the aggregate form, flying form, final form. A lot of people are saying like Mecha Ghidorah. I don't think they might do a Mecha. I think they're gonna lay low from the Mecha for a while. But how's everybody's day going? Anybody tired from staying up late last night or waking up early? Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I'm tired myself. But I enjoyed after watching it a couple more times this morning. I still enjoyed it. Now I want to see it in the movie theaters. Do you guys think that this movie is gonna pass Zack Snyder's Justice League as the most watched movie on HBO Max? Yes, it was. What kind of what kind of what kaiju do you guys hope to see next in this MonsterVerse? Because you know that they're gonna keep making these movies, especially after what they did, after the success of this movie. You know they're gonna keep making these movies. Which shout out to McKeel McCharge and shout out to Sarah. Mecha Godzilla kicked Godzilla's ass. Yes, he did. God damn, he kicked his ass. Now I don't think he just kicked his ass. Like he literally manhandled Godzilla in a way we've never seen him get manhandled before. Like he literally grabbed him by the head and was just throwing him around. Yeah, Destroyer will be crazy. But do you think Destroyer might be a little too crazy for the movies? Or they even or so like if they bring him, would they kind of redesign him so he can look a little different? Damn, nothing's showing. Yeah, anything's possible now. I mean, what I want to know is I want to know more about those bats that were in that cave. Were they just like baby war bats? Where Kong gets the axe? Those bats that were on the ceiling that came down, they were smaller. They didn't look like a war bat, but they're definitely bats. I wonder if those are like baby war bats. I'm going to see Godzilla versus King Kong on Easter. Also, you haven't seen the movie yet? Squid XDG Man was tired. Hell yeah, he was. That guy was just like, man, I just want to go back home and rest. Godzilla didn't. He was just on the ground trying to go to sleep. I do want to point out that you know what? Now that I'm right here, I'm gonna look it up. But the outfit that the guy was wearing at the very end of the movie looked like the outfit Marty McFly wears in Back to the Future with the red vest. Yeah, I just Google Marty McFly and it's already showing the red vest with the blue jeans. Now let me see if I put Marty McFly Godzilla. Ah, nothing, nothing. But yeah, this movie was fucking phenomenal. I loved it. You also noticed that too? Yeah, it's just I mean, I feel like if that is I mean, it looks a lot like Marty McFly, so it could be the director just kind of like throwing a little Easter egg there. Because there's no way this guy out of nowhere just decides to dress up like that unless they wanted us to kind of connect the dots. Let's see, Marty McFly, Godzilla. I'm trying to put up the. I can't wait to see the news outlets, these next, like, these movie news sites, see what they have to say about the movie and how big of a success it is. Mainly because I want to see if they're going to start talking about what's next for this movie. Because I know that I'm not the only one that's wondering that. I think everybody at the end of that movie was wondering what is next for Godzilla and what is next for Kong. I definitely believe that if they're gonna do another one for the MonsterVerse, it's gonna be a movie and it's probably a movie about Kong and it's gonna be titled King Kong. you have to explore Kong being in the Hollow Earth and kind of figuring out how am I gonna, survive here. There's a lot of IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. See, the thing is, I never really look at IGN as a good source for movie reviews. I mean, 7 out of 10 is still good, but this movie definitely deserves a higher rating than that. Yeah, we already saw the Godzilla vs. King Kong movie. So if you don't want to, there's definitely gonna be spoilers in this live stream. I just wanted to get on here real quick with you guys and just kind of talk about what we witnessed last night, this morning, and kind of really get everybody's ideas. And maybe you guys saw something I didn't. What did a tomato review it? We're gonna go. I'm looking at it right now. Put that on here. That way you guys can see what I'm looking at. Oh, I can't. See, they got an 80%. Godzilla vs. Kong got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. 81%. Audience score rated it at 93. I mean, that says a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Cool shirt. I like X-Men. Became watching X-Men movie. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I love X-Men. Can't wait for the next X-Men movie when they finally release it. Okay, I'm getting more of this. We got an article here from Screen Rant. Godzilla vs. Kong ending explained. I think we pretty much got the ending, but I want to see what they have to say about this. Godzilla vs. Kong ending leaves Godzilla and Kong's Monsterverse stories in interesting places, especially after Mechagodzilla appearance. The Godzilla vs. Kong ending leaves both Godzilla and Kong in new places in their stories, thus allowing both to coexist in future Monsterverse movies. First announced way back in 2015, it's been a long journey getting Godzilla vs. Kong into the big screen, which marks only the second time the two iconic monsters have come to blows in a film with their first bout being in 1962's King Kong vs. Godzilla. Warner Bros. And Legendary Entertainment's idea was that Adam Wingard's film would be the crowning installment of the MonsterVerse franchise, which began with Godzilla in 2014 and continued with Kong Skull Island in 2017 and Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019. And the entire time, the studios promised that one of the Titans would win, which presumably would left only one alive. However, Godzilla vs. Kong takes steps to ensure that not only did Godzilla and Kong both survive, but they also feature stories set up by leaving their endings somewhat opened. And that's true. That's why I was thinking, like, there's no way that they can end this movie like that, because there wasn't a real kind of like ending. It was an ending to the Godzilla vs. Kong, the fight, but their stories for each one this wouldn't be a good way to end it. They both need to kind of like maybe another movie for each so they can fully go out with a bang. By combining aspects from all three previous movies, the Hollow Earth and Skull Crawlers from Skull Island, everything Monarch learns about the Titans in Godzilla and Ghidorah's head, and Godzilla's alpha status from Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong acted the culmination of 7 years worth of storytelling. After two fights, a team up against Mechagodzilla, and the discovery of Hollow Earth, Godzilla vs. Kong ended with a promising outlook that made both monsters kings of their own worlds. And this one I guess is going to start going into more of explaining how Hollow Earth is. But shout out to Michael Orozco. What's going on, man? How many times have you seen the movie so far? The next watch party for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I missed the other one. There was some personal stuff that I was doing. Couldn't do the last live stream for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I will be doing this for episode 3. So now they're going into the Hollow Earth explained. Before the world discovered the existence of monsters, a senior official from Monarch, William Rhonda, postulated the theory of the Hollow Earth, while he and Dr. Houston Brooks are credited with confirming the theory in the MonsterVerse, particularly in the film Kong Skull Island. The idea of the Hollow Earth began centuries ago in real life. English scientist Edmund Halley put forth the idea towards the end of the 17th century, and although it was disapproved shortly afterward, the concept gained a foothold in science fiction and fantasies. And that's what's one crazy thing. There's actually the Hollow Earth wasn't made up. It was actually a theory from back long time ago, an English scientist, and it says it right here. English scientist Edmund Halley came out and put forth the idea that there could be a hollow Earth deep in the in the core of Earth. And he just didn't have enough proof for it. But that theory always stuck with like people that wrote books and comics, and because it was so interesting and it caught the attention of storytellers. So I thought that was pretty cool when I figured that out. The concept gained a foothold in science fiction and fantasies. Notably, stories like Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of Earth made great strides in expanding one's imagination of what the planet's interior would look like if the hollow Earth truly existed. That's true. This Journey to the Center of Earth was of them pretty much going into the hollow Earth. The MonsterVerse has its own version in Godzilla vs. Kong. As proposed by Monarch, the hollow Earth is an open world deep within the Earth, and this connected by a series of tunnels or caverns that allow Titans to travel around the world at an incredible speed. In Godzilla vs. Kong, Dr. Nathan Lin says they traveled approximately 1,000 miles in just 2 seconds. It's believed that Hollow Earth is where the Titans originated. Okay, so this is one of the plot holes in the movie. Okay, so when Dr. Nathan tells that one girl that they traveled approximately 1,000 miles in just 2 seconds. So what he's saying is when they're on the heave ship and they're about to enter the little warp thing where it just makes them go super fast into the hollow earth. He's saying that while they're going so fast, they're actually traveling 1,000 miles. They need to travel 1,000 miles to get to hollow earth. So the plot hole here that I'm trying to get to is Godzilla. When Godzilla is making the hole and he's shooting the atomic blast on the ground and making a hole all the way down. So you're telling me that he shot that atomic blast and that atomic blast went 1,000 miles down? You guys understanding what I'm trying to get at? Like that kind of just doesn't make sense. Uh all right, man. See you later, Squid. Thanks for coming to chat and saying hi. Definitely catch you later. But the fact that he was able to use that atomic blast and shoot all the way to the ground, and it really just didn't make sense for me. So I know that they were thinking like, how do we know how we got Kong down in heave, but how do we get Kong back up? So that's what they were thinking about when they were making this movie. So they were like, we just have somebody thought about like, let's just have Godzilla shoot a hole down and all the way down. There was somebody that was like, but that wouldn't make sense because didn't they just travel 1,000 miles just to get there? Like they had to go 1,000 miles down to get to the hollow earth, and it wouldn't make sense. I mean, somebody had to say that in the meeting or something, but maybe they just didn't think nobody was gonna really notice. But I don't know. That's just that kind of like just the plot hole. There's a plot hole. It's believed that Hollow Earth is where the Titans originated, hence why so many monsterverses are alive down there and aren't on the surface, like Nozuki and Warbat species. And based on the throne Kong sits upon, his axe and Godzilla-shaped skeleton on the ground seemingly consists of the other axes and dorsal spikes. It seems Kong's ancestors were the rulers of Hollow Earth. Which brings me to my next point. When Kong finds uh the skull where the axe is connected to, did you guys see the size of that skull? That was another Kong skull, but man, was that size way bigger than Kong's head. But we're talking about what if these other Kongs out there, the possibility of them being way bigger than Kong is pretty high because we just saw a skull there and it was huge. So it seems that Kong's ancestors were the rulers of the Hollow Earth. So I guess, another way that what they can do is kind of make an origin movie of like showing us back in the day when these Godzillas would fight Kongs, when that epic battle. Imagine that. Oh, what kind of movie that would be? That would be crazy. I would love to see something like that. When Rhonda and the U.S. military escort arrival on Skull Island in 1969. Let me move this to the side here. In 1973, their charges confirmed their suspicion of Hollow Earth. Then a submarine and Godzilla, king of the monsters, took Dr. Serizawa and several other people through one of the tunnels to an ancient underwater city which believed to have then been Godzilla's home. Godzilla vs. Kong takes things further by having Monarch travel through the entire point in Antarctica into the actual Hollow Earth world. Not only is Kong's home, but it's also a place that's survivable for humans as well. Ancient Titans War and Kong's Axe. First hinted at in the credits for Skull Island, Godzilla and Kong were born enemies. Their ancestors fought on ancient war thousands of years before the events of the MonsterVerse films. According to what's shown in the Hollow Earth, the fact that Kong wields an axe made up of one of Godzilla's dorsal spikes, and that there was a Godzilla-like shape in the throne room, it seems Kong's ancestors won their ancient war. That's perhaps why Godzilla's home was the underwater city and not the Hollow Earth, and why he already existed on the surface. Furthermore, the throne Kong sits on is one his ancestors must have sat upon as well, reigning over the monster's kingdom. It's in that room that Kong finds his axe, one that is powered by an old dorsal plate from Godzilla's ancestors, and the axe hilt is also from a bone of another enemy, though it's unclear which one. By placing the axe, particularly the dorsal spike, in line with the Godzilla shape in the ground. The axe is powered by the radiation from the planet's core, and the axe-filled skeleton charges up its atomic breath in some way Godzilla does. In the same way Godzilla does. Let me correct myself there. Godzilla's species feeds on radiation as a food source. According to Dr. Graham in 2014's Godzilla, it's why Godzilla and other monsters retreated to the ocean's depths as the Earth's radiation subsided on the surface. Interestingly, there's two aspects to Kong's axe, one of which helps save both Kong and Godzilla, and the other of Godzilla vs. Kong. Not only can the axe block Godzilla's atomic breath, but it can absorb the power radiation from it as well, thus allowing Kong to deliver an explosive atomic breath explosion upon impact. Kong uses it to disorient Godzilla in their Hong Kong battle, and Godzilla later specifically powers the axe so Kong can defeat Mechagodzilla as well. That was actually a really good scene in that movie when they just do that little double team against Mecha. While Kong has used spears before, both in Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong, it's the axe that sets him apart from other monsters, thus allowing him and his ancestors to conquer the Hollow Earth. Jaya's connection with Kong. Jaya in this movie, the connection between Jaya and Kong really kind of like, that's what kind of made me I was rooting for Godzilla, but when they really explored Jaya's connection with Kong and they told us more about that and I got to learn more of how they both are, I really started feeling for Kong. There were certain parts in the movie where I caught myself and I was kind of rooting for Kong, because they did such a good job at making us connect and feel something for Kong. But I was still rooting for Godzilla. Don't get me wrong. What's going on, Lemonada Censored? Hope your day's going well. What'd you think of the movie? Like in Kong, Skull Island, and Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong also has a character who shares a connection with one of Titular's monsters. In this film, it's Jaya, an orphan who was taken in by Dr. Lenny Andrews after the Iui, oh god, I'm butchering that name, the native people seen in the movie Kong Skull Island, were killed on Skull Island. Dr. Andrews says Jaya's parents were killed in the storm, presumably referring to the wild storm produced by Ghidorah in Godzilla King of the Monsters, which destroyed countless cities and regions around the world. At some point after that, Jaya was taken in by Lean, who heads Monarch's facilities on Skull Island. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that her parents got killed in that storm that Ghidorah did. I did not know that part. And this is something that's real interesting because, we all know that the movies, Godzilla's, they're great, but only when we're seeing, big old kaijus beating the shit out of each other. So, and it's true, the human characters in the movies are just not getting the attention that they hope they want to get. They're just not the good parts. They're always the weakest parts of the movies, the human characters. Remarkably, during her time on the island, Jaya taught Kong to sign to a great extent, seeing as he understands when she tells him his family might be inside the hollow earth. Just like the past incarnations of King Kong, the MonsterVerse version of Kong is quite protective. He's willing to fight anyone in order to safeguard Jaya. But instead of having an unspoken bond as in other films, Kong and Jaya can actually communicate. And their connection is amplified by emotion. There was a time where they were both alone in the world, looking for a family they no longer had. They both became attached to each other, even when Dr. Andrews and Monarch took Jaya. Damn, that's deep. That's deep. Apex Titans plan Hollow Earth strategy, energy source. The human villain in Godzilla vs. Kong is the group Apex Cybernetics, a company whose goal has been topple Godzilla as king of the monsters. When the world at large first became aware of Godzilla, they had no way to combat him. Monarch themselves didn't know what to do. It's why the military began developing the Oxygen Destroyer, which was developed against Godzilla and Ghidorah. In King of the Monsters, though, it was unsuccessfully in killing the later. So taking a page out of the Heisei era's Mechagodzilla 2 story, Apex created their own robotic Godzilla to encounter the Alpha Titan and protect humanity from Godzilla's terror. Part of their plan required a unique energy source Apex believed was located inside the Hollow Earth, but they had no way of getting there. Partly because they could locate the right entry point and because anyone who went inside never came back. Dr. Lin was recruited to help Walter Simmons and Apex get there by using Kong as a guide, and Apex heaves especially designed aerial vehicles that could withstand the Hollow Earth's gravity, field pressure. But the problem was Kong's willingness to leave Skull Island and go into the underground world. Apex and Simmons weren't interested in the Hollow Earth itself. They couldn't care less what the monsters in Kong did beneath the surface. Rather, they wanted the energy source that came from the Hollow Earth, the radiation that helped charge Kong's axe in the throne room. In order to push past the hurdles that were holding back Mechagodzilla, while Ren Serizawa, the son of late Dr. Serizawa, was successful in interlinking with Mechagodzilla, the mech couldn't be Godzilla's superior until the energy was utilized, but the problem was that energy had other effects as well. You know what? I didn't notice that Ren Serizawa was the son of Dr. Serizawa. Isn't Dr. Serizawa the one that sacrificed himself to revive Godzilla in Godzilla versus, in Godzilla King of the Monsters? So this is his son, and his son, that's why his son hated Godzilla, probably because he knew that his dad died, because he was obsessed with Godzilla. And the son ended up growing up and being obsessed with hating Godzilla. So that is crazy. Let's see. Mikhail says, "What time are you doing a watch party for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for episode 3?" And I watched Godzilla King of the Monster. For me, I will be posting a video, kind of like a little reminder. So you should see posting. If you're subscribed to the channel, you will know that I'll put a little video up that will say under it scheduled for Wednesday night, because I do it Wednesday nights soon as it drops on Disney Plus, I'm doing it live. So I'll also be doing a live watch for Mortal Kombat, even though it got pushed back a week. But hey, I'm still pumped up to see that one. Mechagodzilla origin and Ghidorah head connection explained. As with many Tahoe monsters, there have been multiple versions of Mechagodzilla over the years, with the MonsterVerse iteration taking inspiration from various sources. In this universe, Mechagodzilla was created by Apex Cybernetics, its power resembling the tech used in Apex Heaves, but the key ingredient in making the robot version of Godzilla work was Ghidorah. In the King of the Monsters post-credit scene, Alan Jonah was seen acquiring one of Ghidorah's severed heads. At the time, it was unclear that he had planned, but in the sense the events of that film, Walter Simmons and Apex Cybernetics took control of the head and used it to create Mechagodzilla. Ghidorah's uniqueness came from being a three-headed dragon in which each head could telepathically communicate with the other. By tapping into that power, into Ghidorah's natural pathways, Ren Serizawa was able to control Mechagodzilla from far, without actually being inside the giant robot. Furthermore, the design itself was molded after Godzilla, or at least one of Godzilla's ancestors, and coupled with Apex Cybernetics tech, Mechagodzilla's powers and arsenal rivaled that of Godzilla's, including having its own version of his atomic breath. In many ways, this Mechagodzilla again heavily resembles the one from the Heisei era. However, there's also a hint of the Showa era Mechagodzilla, with the monster having a blade, in this case a Mechagodzilla, a mechanical drill at the end of its tail. So who was controlling Mechagodzilla? After Maya Simmons set up the sample signature of the energy source from the Hollow Earth, Walter Simmons and Apex quickly began to replicate it. And because Godzilla was already in Hong Kong's search for the Mechagodzilla threat, Simmons forced Serizawa to incorporate the energy source into Mechagodzilla without first testing it. While it certainly helped Apex overcome the mech's drawbacks, integration wasn't without issue. By combining the Hollow Earth energy source with Ghidorah's severed head, Ghidorah's consciousness awoke and electrocuted Serizawa. Then it killed Simmons with a physical strike. That primordial energy, I don't fucking know that word, source was the final element in reviving Ghidorah, or at least the dragon's mind, to a certain extent. Although the initial test against the Skrullers saw Mechagodzilla being controlled by Serizawa, in the final battle against Godzilla and Kong, Mechagodzilla was really Ghidorah the whole time, thus giving audiences a King of the Monsters rematch with Godzilla's powers. Godzilla or Kong, MonsterVerse new Alpha Titan. Godzilla, hold on. Okay. Godzilla and Kong's first fight in the ocean was unfair, to say the last. Kong was sedated and chained for most of the journey's Antarctica, and he wasn't in the natural environment, whereas Godzilla was on his home turf. In the end, it was Monarch's decision to have Kong submit to Godzilla so that the rest lost my place here. The rest of the fleet wouldn't be destroyed. They did this by turning off all of their engines so that Godzilla wouldn't feel threatened. But when Kong claimed his axe and powered it inside the Hollow Earth, Godzilla felt threatened again and attacked him using his atomic breath, breaking a hole in the earth. It ultimately led to their second and final battle. But the winner wasn't explicitly clear, despite what the movie's marketing material promised. According to Dr. Ling, Kong According to Dr. Lin, Kong won the second round when the primate king used the atomic breath charged axe to deliver an explosive blow against Godzilla, thus temporarily incapacitating the dinosaur. However, Godzilla regained his strength and took down Kong with both monsters roaring at each other. Until Godzilla walked away without killing Kong. Then later, Kong dropped the axe in a show of acceptance. Taking that scene into account, as well as Godzilla roaring after Mechagodzilla's defeat, Godzilla for the first time chose not to fight another Titan. Instead, he accepted Kong as being a second Alpha level Titan, perhaps partly because he was impressed by Kong's warrior spirit and partly because Kong helped him defeat Ghidorah once and for all. I don't understand why in this article they're saying, but the winner wasn't explicitly clear, despite what the movie's marketing material promised. It was clear as day. I don't know what they were watching. Godzilla definitely he won. You know, they never said one was gonna die. You know, they said that they were gonna fight each other until one submits, and Kong submitted. You know what I mean? Like, what did you want Kong to say? Like, oh, you want Kong to tap out? Like, literally just slap his hand on the ground, like I'm out? Or does it, you want Kong to tell Godzilla, like, literally, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, motherfucker, I submit. No, what the hell? The clear winner was Godzilla. This is Kong becomes king of the Hollow Earth. Godzilla vs. Kong ended with both Godzilla and Kong retreating back to their homes. Godzilla went back into the ocean and presumably resumed his patrol around the world, while Kong went back into the Hollow Earth, where Monarch had set up its latest research station. Given Kong regards the Hollow Earth as home now, he defeated the species that initially retaliated against him, and his ending scene, it's fair to say that the Monsterverse has now made Kong the king of the Hollow Earth, thereby giving him his iconic name of King Kong. Meanwhile, Godzilla is still the apex predator and alpha titan of the surface world. Godzilla vs. Kong's ending has allowed both monsters to remain kings of their respective worlds without either of them infringing on the other. However, that doesn't mean they would never come to blows again if one traveled into the other's domain. They may feel the need to defend themselves as they did in this film. Pretty much that's the end of that. But a lot of it is kind of like what I already said. There's certain things in this article that I honestly didn't know, and I'm glad I actually read that article. But let me know what you guys think of this. We'll wrap this up. Before I let you go, guys, make sure if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell button. Stay updated with all the videos that I post up. And until next time, I'm out of here. I'm gonna watch the movie a couple more times.